On to Italy now, where the most wanted fugitive of the country, Matteo Messina Denaro, has been caught. The Sicilian godfather was Italy's #1 most wanted criminal. He evaded the police for 30 long years. But the manhunt has finally come to an end. If you have watched the Godfather movies, then you might be familiar with the notorious Cosa Nostra mafia. It is a real-life Sicilian crime syndicate, and Denaro is allegedly one of its leading figures. He was born in 1962 in a criminal family. His father, Francesco, or Don Ciccio, was himself a powerful Cosa Nostra boss. And Denaro thrived in the family business. Reports say he learned how to use a gun at the age of 14, and he was just 20 when he followed his father into the mob. He built an illicit multi-billion-dollar empire in the waste, wind energy and retail sectors. The mafia boss also oversaw racketeering, money laundering and drug trafficking. People knew him by the name Diabolic, after a comic book character. Now, this character is a ruthless thief who commits serious crimes, and Denaro's similarities with the comic anti-hero earned him that nickname. According to the informers and prosecutors, he holds the key to some of the Sicilian mafia's most heinous crimes. In 1992, Denaro killed legendary anti-mafia prosecutors Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino. A year later, he carried out deadly bomb attacks in Milan, Florence and Rome. But his most denounced crimes are the murder of rival mobsters' innocent relatives. Denaro kidnapped a mafia turncoat's 12-year-old son. He used the boy as a leverage. He attempted to dissuade the turncoat from giving evidence against the mafia. The boy was in his captivity for 2 years, but ultimately Denaro strangled him to death and dissolved his body in acid. The mobster once infamously claimed that he has filled a cemetery all by himself. Denaro was tried and sentenced to life in absentia, and the quest to locate Denaro was complicated. He had been on the lam since 1993, since the police stifled the crackdown, and as a result, there weren't any recent photographs to actually identify him. All his pictures were from the late 1980s and early 90s, and they weren't of much help. So how did the anti-mafia police get a hold of this criminal mastermind? The Italian authorities reconstructed Denaro's appearance digitally. They fed the information provided by the mafia turncoats into a computer software to achieve this feat, but even then, it took them years to succeed. Some informants revealed that Denaro underwent facial surgeries to mislead the police. Now, this seems like the plot of an underworld movie, but it's true. In August 2021, an Italian public TV broadcaster released a recording dating back to March 1993. In this recording, Denaro was called to testify in a trial before he went into hiding. The mobster's voice was identified for the first time. With such little identification, dozens of people were accidentally arrested instead of Denaro over the years. Every time investigators seemed to get closer to their target, Denaro would once again fade away. He would disappear and reappear around the world. Former mobsters claimed to have seen him in Spain, England, Germany, South America. Others said he had never left his stronghold in Sicily. Tracing Denaro's footsteps was an uphill task, but the Italian investigators did not give up year after year. They relentlessly seized his businesses. They arrested more than 100 of his confederates, including cousins, nephews, his sister. Little by little, Italian prosecutors scorched the earth around Denaro. They cut off his contact with his supporters who protected him in hiding. Finally, the military police got it right. Denaro was living under a false name. He was receiving treatment for cancer and had an operation last year. He was in a private clinic in Palermo when more than 100 members of the armed forces busted the site. People stood in the streets and applauded the anti-mafia police as Denaro was led away. The Premier, Giorgia Meloni, thanked the armed forces for their achievement. She called it a great victory for the state. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.